Do you like Sherlock Holmes or Edgar Allan Poe or things of the gothic macabre variety? Well, then you might like Beast in the Shadows by Edogawa Rampo. Welcome back to StoryTube, everybody. So, Beast in the Shadows by Edogawa Rampo is a Japanese crime noir detective horror gothic mystery novel from the early 20th century. It's from 1928. And Edogawa Rampo is actually considered one of the grandfathers of Japanese crime fiction writing at the time, or actually a couple of years before, the likes of Raymond Chandler and Dashiell Hammett, who basically invented the hard-boiled detective noir novel in the States. A newer brand of darker, shadowy detective fiction. This book, however, is heavily inspired by the works of Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes, and also Edgar Allan Poe, and those maybe hints of the supernatural and the ethereal and the oppressive dark corners and the big mansion with the hidden secrets. So, Edogawa Rampo, if you don't actually know anything about him, which I did not either, this is a fairly recent translation of an extremely old book. And he is now getting a little bit of a, not necessarily a resurgence, but he's getting a rediscovery, I guess, or a discovery in the Western world because of these little Penguin crime classics line, these green books where they are publishing old, forgotten, or not talked about works. And I kind of wanted to highlight this little book. This is a 90-page novel. This is considered a novel, or it was back in the day anyway. And Penguin are releasing these books to get, I guess, people aware of them again. And that's why I'm doing this review, because I read this and I thought it was fantastic. Coincidentally, they've also published another one of his books called Gold Mask, which I picked up after reading this. Haven't read this one yet, but this is kind of about a thief who wears a different mask every time he commits a robbery, and we follow a detective on like this cat and mouse kind of chase, and both of them trying to outwit the other. So that'll probably be my next one. But back to Beast in the Shadows. What is this book about? This is about the, I guess, budding friendship, possibly relationship between a detective novelist who is writing in the first person. This book is kind of like meta fiction in a way. There's a lot of breaking the fourth wall. So he befriends this woman whose husband has just died mysteriously, maybe been killed, we're not sure, and she is currently being stalked by an ex-lover, and that ex-lover is also a famous crime novelist by the name of Oe Shunde. Is that his real name? We don't think so. Is Oe Shunde even real? We're not sure. Is he actually stalking this woman, or is she making it all up? We're not sure. Is the main character, our detective novelist, making all of this up, or is he just really jealous of his, I guess, competitor's success in detective novel publishing? There are a lot of questions raised in a short amount of pages, and there is always a feeling of unease, and the central relationship between the main detective, who decides, you know what, I'm a good detective writer, I'm going to try protect this woman and solve the case and figure out, why is this guy stalking her? Who is the guy? Did he actually kill her husband? And what's really going on? And through this process, he kind of gets the hots for her. And there's a lot of funny interaction. There's a lot of, well, this feels like a toxic relationship in the making. Is she manipulating him? Is he manipulating her and just not telling us? Are his intentions good? All of this kind of stuff. There's a permeating sense of unease throughout this book that Edogawa Rampo really, really does well, and he does it through that sort of first person metafiction, unreliable narration. Since he's inspired quite heavily by Sherlock Holmes, there's an element of leaving you clues to help you solve the mystery. But obviously, Edgar Allan Poe. So Edogawa Rampo is actually a Japanese transliteration of Edgar Allan Poe. So the influences there are more than overt, and it opens your mind to the possibility of the supernatural, and maybe other things are going on in this book, but it's left as a kind of ambiguous question for you to ponder, and it just gives it that sense of mystery and wonder. And quite often in these kinds of books, you know, you want to figure it out, it's laid out, and you get to the end and the killer is revealed, or whatever happens is revealed, and maybe sometimes it's a little less satisfying than those that just leave the mystery dangling and the ambiguity tantalizing you. And this one, more in the vein of Poe, is a little more ambiguous, and you have to, I guess, dig a little deeper into what is going on. And I think using the unreliable narration that way, he did this really, really well and packs a lot into 90 pages. And the fact that this book was written, I think, 2 or 3 years before Dashiell Hammett's first book, who was kind of generally considered the first of the hard-boiled noir writers, it just made this for a very interesting read. The question about old sort of hard-boiled noir as well is, will you have the kind of sexist undertones or the damsel in distress? And quite often in that subgenre, that genre, it's quite pulpy. You can get a little bit of that. But for a book written in Japan in the mid-20s, 1920s, it's surprisingly more layered than that. The woman in this book might be a little bit of a damsel in distress, but she might be a lot smarter than the main detective, who thinks he's super smart, is giving her credit for. And maybe he's being played. There's a lot of ambiguity to it that just gave it that extra layer of tension, and sexual tension as well. Their relationship is built very much on the fact that she might be manipulating his feelings towards her. And it makes for a really entertaining little read. And don't let the fact that it's almost 100 years old put you off, because this reads super, super quick, super easy. Like a modern day thriller, to be honest. But some of the writing and prose is very, very nice. So give Edogawa Rampo a go. If you've tried them before, jump down into the comments and let me know. If you've read this one, jump down into the comments and let me know. If you enjoyed this little mini review, give it a like, and I'll do more of these. I've read a ton of obscure shit in the last little while that I might just do these quick little reviews for. So if you want to see more of that, like this video, let me know. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, do all that stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.